Hello everyone, this is Enzo Eigen at the Alliance for Loki, and funny thing happened. So I was out hiking the other day, and we have the legends of the fairies in my region, and so apparently up in the cliffs up above our village there lives a lot of fairies, and I've never really believed it. But yesterday I was hiking, and I guess I was just really tired and probably dehydrated, and I like thought I saw a fairy. It was crazy, and so I started talking to this fairy, and it was all something about like world coming into an end, like magic, and then she gave me this like glowing round stone, and so I took it, and then I sort of like just passed out, and I've woken up, and I guess I feel okay, maybe a little different, but it's all very strange. But anyway, so now we have the Mystic class tier list. And so, yeah, really cool class. A lot of good champions in here. And so we're going to start off with the very top. Almost want to put him by himself in the first rank, and that is Dr. Doom. Such a powerful champion. Great prestige, great offense, great defense, nullifies, power gain, Dune cycle, works great with Mystic Dispersion. Basically everything you could want in a champion he has, except he's not suicide friendly. That might be his only one negative attribute, but we'll go keep him up there by himself. And so now in the number 2 layer, I would say we have Black Widow Clairvoyant, an incredibly good champion, very versatile. Change her immunities. You also can have different specials. Very playable, has good regen, good power control. Has the buff immunity that she puts on people, and also then when she hits them, she takes away buffs. So really crazy. Suicides, she's great with suicides because she turns them off basically instantly, and then she also Mystic Dispersion. She's sort of funny with Mystic Dispersion. Sometimes it gets us too much power because she just nullifies buffs so easily. So really great Mystic. I might move up to number 1 in a second. Also in the number 2, I'm going to have to put Tigra. I think Tigra is an incredibly cool champion. Very difficult to play. Very interesting to play. But she can be amazing. Magic is definitely on the second realm too. A really strong champion. Just amazing power control. Only available as a 5-star, so that's going to make a difference for a while. In the second rank, okay, well, we'll go keep on thinking about champions. I'm going to put, Sorcerer Supreme, Symbiote Supreme, and Diablo. Diablo has to go up here. So Diablo definitely. Just strong poison, strong abilities with the pre-fights you can put on him, the constant regen. He actually is sort of like suicide needed because suicides give him basically regen the entire fight. He's not quite really that good with Mystic Dispersion. Actually, I take that back. He's pretty good with Mystic Dispersion, but it's not needed. You can play him totally fine without it. See anyone else? Dr. Voodoo potentially. Okay, I'm going to make sort of my third list, so we'll see. Like, the second list and third list I'm going to probably be pretty close. But Dr. Voodoo, a little bit of regen, good, interesting power control, puts on lots of poisons. Sort of fell off just because he was only available as a 5-star, and he sort of got to other mystics that sort of bypassed him, I would say. Doesn't have a great nullify. I mean, he can turn their buffs into poisons, but it's not really quite as on demand as other champions. Symbiote Supreme's, I think, an amazing champion. There are some matchups where he still feels like he's the absolute best champion in the game. Incredibly powerful nullifying with his stagger debuffs he puts on. Very frequent, very often. Works great with Mystic Dispersion. And then he almost gets like a sort of a quasi Doom cycle himself when he just starts spamming SP3s for huge damage. One of the coolest abilities is when he has all 3 of his buffs up. There's one that he only takes 15% damage, so he can tank special 3s, which is pretty unique amongst the mystics. Morningstar is a ramp-up champion, but once she's ramped up, she's amazing. Great for really long content like incursions. Has a lot of utility, lifesteal, can nullify. Doesn't do any one particular thing pretty well, but has it all. And once she gets 5 out of 5 charges, like, it's powerful. Sorcerer Supreme, I'd also put in this third list. She's a very powerful champion. Again, has sort of the standard kit. Does have a little bit of interesting the way her she goes through her blessing cycles, which is really cool. The regen on block is pretty unique for champions. She's also, I think, maybe the only champion in this game where you can automatically put a slow on the opponent at the very beginning. So if you have her with the Storm Pyramid X synergy, she gets a bar of power, and you can start her. You can choose in sort of the pre-fight. You can start her in her, I can't remember, it's the power gain node, which is also the slow debuff. And she has so much range on her SP1, you don't have to worry about being hit. You can just throw it, automatically put a slow on the opponent, and you're off. And so it's pretty cool. Last Mojo, actually maybe not last Mojo, he's another interesting ramp up. He's not a super strong ramp up champion. I mean, you can play him pretty well even before he's ramped up. Has a promise, which is really interesting. I find him just really intriguing to play. I think the way he makes buffs expire real quick is pretty cool. He doesn't quite have like the most power of a Mystic. Like he has one small nullify in SP1, but he has pretty impressive damage with degen, and he gets a little bit of regen each time with him. And the buff, having the buffs like fall off quick is pretty ingenious, and so he's a fun champion to play and pretty powerful in his own right. And let's see, I'm gonna put Switch here too. I might actually put both Scarlet Witches there. Both are fun to play, interesting. Switch, again, I've been watching more and more gameplay. Seems like she's a very good, reasonable, powerful champion, very fun, and has like, you know, good damage and some good nullify ability. She nullifies on the parry, I believe. And the original Scarlet Witch, at one point, the best champion in the game. She'd be like number 1, and the next champion would probably be at number 4 if we're doing a tier list for her before the big 12.0 nerf. But she's still a fun champion and pretty interesting to play. After that, maybe make an argument for Dragon Man in this list too, in this sort of third level. I think Dragon Man also, let me slide everything over so you can see it better. Also is another champion who just has a lot of good utility, can be powerful, fun to play. You know, it's like the Mystic class is about power control and nullification, and like he's a champion that actually doesn't really do either one of those, but he's still really fun. He gets a lot of power. He's a robot. He's a Mystic. So he gets Mystic Dispersion as a robot, and he can just hit really hard. Got the unstoppable, unblockable, and you can just spam SP3s over and over again. So he's also a great champion. I think that might do it for our third list. And our fourth list are champions that are plenty good to play, plenty usable. Sort of have like the amazing, excellent, good, fair. So these are champions that you can definitely play with and are good champions. Sasquatch, I feel like his damage is sort of like very simplistic. I think it's just a ramp up to SP2, and then you just continue to do that. I'm going to put the original Ghost Rider, Mystic Ghost Rider as he's called. Just came out as a 6-star. I actually just pulled him not so long ago as a 6-star. For a while, he was one of the better champions of the game, but always was sort of like one of those champions where people would debate how good he was. But he's really fun to play. I love his regen. I like all of his different judgments that he can put on, and just the various different things you can do with him. He's, again, another Mystic where he sort of does a lot of things okay, but nothing great. We've often called him the Swiss Army knife of the Mystic class. Man-Thing is... he might deserve to be on the 3 line. I'm going to put him up on 3. I think he can be a very powerful champion. Good regen. Actually, okay regen. Nullify, puts on the poisons. You know, has a lot of these things that row has. Like a lot of good Mystic abilities, but nothing too exceptional. And Mephisto definitely in the 4th tier as well. Again, reasonable defender, fun to play, but nothing too extraordinary. Same with Dormammu. He's sort of in that same classification. Doctor Strange, I would say, yes, he used to be up there with Scarlet Witch as the best champions in the game. After that, Ebony Maw, since his buff, I think he's actually reasonable to play. American Chavez, I just don't know much about at all. I just fought her a few times. I'll put her here just because I know she's an okay defender at the very least, and maybe she's, you know, okay otherwise. So let me slide over everything. We're running out of room here. Okay. And trying to think, anyone else? Longshot, I'm actually going to put on the 3. He just can do such insane damage. He's not... I don't think particularly fun to play. It's basically heavy, then SP2, and that's all you do with him. And it's just so simplistic, his gameplay. But boy, that SP2, wow, he can do so much damage. Huge burst of damage. But you just really don't see him used at all. And so even with that, he just doesn't have that much utility in the game. I'm trying to think. Anyone else deserve in the 4 or 5 before we do the last one? Oh, Hood. I totally forgot about Hood. So Hood has had a buff. I must be honest, I've not played the buff at all, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. And so I'm going to have to put him in at least the 3rd row. I have a feeling I'm going to get some comments that he should be in the 2nd tier. He is really, really a cool champion and very powerful, apparently. But I don't know. And now let's see. Okay, well, let's see. 5th tier. Okay, we can definitely put Juggernaut. Old school, unstoppable. Colossus, also very old. Guillotine, I just haven't played with her at all. I'm gonna put her in the 4 now. Again, another champion I haven't played post buff, but no one's been too excited about her her buff and how it's changed her. Of course, the 2 Iron Fists, we definitely can put them here in the 5th row. And Thor. Poor Purgatory. She's definitely the Jubilee of the Mystic class. She has like all this interesting things that just somehow hasn't worked. I think Mangog, I guess he needs to be up at the 4th. It seems like he has a little bit of playability. At the very least, he's okay on defense. Low-key, we're going to put... I guess I should put him in the 4 for 4 Loki, but he's probably really a 5. And Mordo, yeah, he's probably also a 5. He's always actually been this really annoying champion to fight, and he's existed like that his entire time. Remember when he first came out? It's a long time ago, but I just never have thought he's that good, and people just don't play with him. I see it all, and so here's the tier list. Yeah, it's interesting. I think, maybe it's a little bit of a bold move putting Doom by himself, but I really feel like he's that powerful. I don't think anyone else is in the same tier as he is as a Mystic. After that, yeah, the 2nd row, I feel pretty comfortable. The 2nd and the 3rd row, I think there's a lot of interchangeability that you could make between the 2nd and 3rd tier. I think both tiers are very, very usable. I just find that that the 2nd tier really are sort of powerful Mystics in the way that they deal with either nullification or the damage they can do, or the sustainability in the fights, or the power control. They just are really strong in their own right. The 3rd class, I feel like, are all Mystics that do something really good and sort of one thing or 2 things okay, but aren't quite at the same level as those top 2. 4, fun to play, but not maybe all of that good. And 5, maybe not fun to play and not good either. So there it is. There's the Mystic class. And yeah, I hope that Magic Stone doesn't transform me into something crazy like a giant Sasquatch. So I hope you enjoyed this tier list, and I'll be back soon again with another one. Bye-bye.